Hey, what up KX crew? It is time for the second video in the training vlog series. As you guys know from the first video, I am doing my training in a boiler room. It is very hot and loud, but it is the conditions that I have right now, and I am not complaining because I am so excited to just be back into weight training again. So today is a push day. Last training vlog I did pull, and today I'm doing push. I did want to include squats and lunges into this workout today, but I just know that I'm going to be on my feet all day tomorrow, and I just took the legs out of it and focused on just my upper body push power. So we started off with some bench press. I was taking it very slow, very carefully. That is the theme of this series, at least for the first few weeks anyway. Made sure I was nice and warmed up with the empty barbell, and then I had a 25 on each side. And now I'm moving on to a 45-pound plate. And this is when I realized I put my shorts on backwards, so that's pretty epic. Here is when I put on my metal workout playlist because that is what has been hyping me up these days. Also, it is the loudest music on my phone and the only music that I can hear in this loud-ass room. So I was definitely feeling rusty with this movement. I haven't done a bench press probably since the pandemic started. So the 45s are going to take some getting used to, but I still feel that strength that I had built up in the past, it's still there. I just got to wake it up. You know, I just got to get used to this weight again before I can start to move up. So for today's workout, I just had one 45-pound plate on each side at 135 pounds, and I did a very simple 5x5, which I'm probably going to stick to for a while. The first set of bench press is always a bit of a grind for me, and then as I get going, it always starts to feel a little bit better. A couple things you'll see in me before every single bench press: I plant my feet, I bring my shoulder blades together so that my chest is out. I feel like I have the most power, and this is the best position to be in if you are bench pressing for strength. Bench has always been my weakest of the strength lifts, but I think it went okay today. Next, I'm getting set up here for an overhead press. Now, the squat rack is too short for me to press inside of, so I just have to use the hooks on the outside and overhead press outside of the rack. I don't have any safeties when I do this, so I do have to be careful. But the best part about overhead press is that worst case scenario, you can just drop the weight in front of you. So for the barbell overhead press, I do another 5x5, and I have a 25-pound plate on each side of the bar, totaling 95 pounds. So you can tell in my lifts, I am using a little bit of leg drive just to get the weight moving. I'm okay with this because I am into strongman, and I am going to be using a bit of push power in a competitive situation, so I don't punish myself too badly for just using a little bit of a boost to get started. Also, if I were to do some strict overhead pressing, I usually do that with dumbbells or less weight on the barbell. I actually really enjoy overhead press a lot more than bench press, so looking back on this now, I probably should have started with overhead press because I do find it a more difficult lift, but it does feel like a more rewarding lift. I really love the feeling of putting weight over my head. It's just when I feel the most grounded and strong, and I just really like overhead press. Even though it's usually a lot less weight than the bench press, it's still one of my favorite lifts. And again, I just want to repeat what I said in the first training vlog, and I'm just trying to build up some strength. I'm just trying to build a foundation here. I know what I used to be able to overhead press, and it's very humbling to not do that weight, even though I knew that I could do that in the past. But it's all about patience and playing the long game and really making sure I take the time to build it up correctly. I was really starting to feel it in my wrists here. My wrists always feel very sore and they ache very quickly when I'm doing overhead press. So what I used to do is wear wrist straps. I didn't think I'd need them for this workout, but I think that next time I will wear them because better safe than sorry, right? May as well provide that support to the joint just to protect it, and I don't need to be a hero, you know. I care about my joints and I'm going to treat them with respect. Next up, I'm doing some angled push-ups. So I set the barbell height a little bit lower in the squat rack, and I'm doing a downward angle push-up. Yes, I could do regular push-ups, but I've been doing those for like a year and a half in my apartment, and I wanted a change of feel. Also, doing angled push-ups like this really supports your bench press, and it challenges your pecs in an angle that is different than what you usually do with, you know, flat bench or incline bench, even decline bench. It is a little bit different. So if you've never tried an angled push-up, I would really recommend it, especially if you're someone who really struggles with just doing regular push-ups. This exercise will do a lot to build up that push strength, and it is a very similar feeling. Also, I like this exercise because your core is engaged the whole time in order to keep you straight. So you're kind of doing a plank the whole time while you're doing this exercise. So Some pointers for you if you are going to do this exercise is to make sure that your chest touches the bar, go all the way down, take your time, make sure your form is good every single rep, because this is easier than a regular push-up, right? You could probably blast through this, but if you take that time, make sure your form is good, really get that mind-muscle connection with your chest. This is a fantastic exercise. Plus, you get that same feeling of holding a bar and pushing weight into it. And I think that's another thing that would really help you with your bench press. Next, we move into our last exercise of the workout, dumbbell tricep extensions. So for these, I'm using a 20-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 12 reps an arm. I really like this exercise because it is a really great tricep builder and it really helps you with the lockout portion of your overhead press. So if you're really struggling to, maybe you can lift the barbell just almost over your head, but you can't quite get it all the way up, this is a great exercise for supporting that lockout. Speaking of lockouts, you're probably wondering why I'm not going to a complete full extension. And in my experience, I find that it's kind of dangerous when you have a heavy dumbbell and you are fully extending your arm into that locked position. We never really advise to do this when you're doing an overhead press. You never want to totally lock your joint out because that leaves it vulnerable to a risk of injury. If your elbow were ever to bend the other way, that weight would quickly come down and snap your stuff up. So I always stop kind of just before full extension just to protect that elbow joint. And also, like I mentioned in my last video, I'm going for power and strength. I'm not really going for bodybuilding or slow muscle building. I'm really just trying to move weight and move it quickly. So that's why I'm putting a lot of intensity into my lifts and I'm not really taking my time with them. I am really concerned about form, of course, but I really want to build up some strength and power as well. So it's a bit of a tightrope when you're trying to balance all these things out. That's going to do it for this workout, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for the next workout.